Hi Rikard. So I want to show you how to use Firebase UI with React to actually create a login website like this, where you can sign in with Google, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, or an ordinary email. And what you do is just you press sign in with any of this, you sign in with, for this example, Gmail, and it will show you the name and the profile picture, also a nice sign out button. So that's what it's going to do. That's what we're going to build today, and I'm going to show you the whole process of it. We can start with creating a React Native app. Open up Bash in your folder. Make sure you have create React app installed. Yes, create an app. Firebase Authentication tutorial. Create it and wait. And when that is done, just open up your favorite editor. Mine is Visual Studio Code. Open the folder which just got created. Make sure it runs by writing yarn start. And it will open up your browser automatically in localhost 3000, and it works. So what we need to do now is to install some dependencies to our package file. The first thing we need is Firebase. So yarn add Firebase. And now when that is installed, we need to install one more dependency, yarn add React Firebase UI, which is something built on top of Firebase, which lets you use Firebase UI, but with React. So we have Firebase, and then we have Firebase UI, which is built on Firebase, and then we have React Firebase UI, which is built on Firebase UI, and that will essentially gives you the login buttons and the flows and everything. So what we need to do now is to go to our app.js file and import Firebase from Firebase to be able to access all the fibers. Control S pretty will also hit in and take away those semicolons, because I'm a bad person, I don't use semicolons. We also need to install one more dependency called styled Firebase Authentication from React Firebase /styled Firebase Authentication. This will give us the flow and the buttons directly, so we don't have to style those ourselves. So I have all the links in the description below. And the first link is the console in Firebase, where you actually have to go in and just press add new project, give it a name, maybe Firebase Auth tutorial, choose Sweden, and create a project. Press continue. You press authentication. You press sign in method. Here you can see everything that you can actually use to log in. It can be email, password, phone, Google, Play Games, App Store, Play Store, I mean. Facebook, Twitter, GitHub. And anonymous is actually pretty cool, because then people actually don't have to sign up if they click around, but then they want to sign up, but they already did stuff on your website and they want that to get saved. Firebase actually handles that quite smooth for you. But we're going to focus on the Google login, Facebook login, Twitter login, and GitHub login, like I showed you. Email is pretty straightforward to use. You can also add, and as I said, you can actually even add phone number, which I think is the only one that will cost you per authentication or something, because they have to send text messages. Let's start with the Facebook one, because that is the next tab I have. I already have the tabs for all this. So just press edit here. You of course have to enable it. And then you have to go into Facebook, which I also link to in the description below. So Facebook developer apps, developer.facebook.com/apps. It's in the description. You press add new app. You give it a name, maybe Firebase Authentication. Did I use a capital A before? Tutorial. Consistency is key. My email, don't email me. Create app ID. Try to figure out what the hell this says. Is that a Q? Is that 8 or a 3? Let's guess. So there's like 50% chance for these things. And here it is. And then you will get here. You will have your app ID. You take that app ID, you just click it, and it will copy. You copy that app ID in there. You also need a secret. Where do you find the secret? It's Facebook login. You press setup. You press web. So here in the quick start you put in localhost 3000 because that's what you are working from, or if you're going to publish the app you just put it from the website that you're actually going to use it on. But for development I'm using this as a standard one for create React app. Next. Done. So where you want to go later is settings. You want to go to basic, and you need your app secret. And I have a super secret app secret. So you need to put your password, your Facebook password in for that. Shouldn't show this to anyone, but you type it in here. And you take this and you go into Facebook login settings again. And you put this on your authentication redirect URI. So it redirects there and you save changes. And you're done with your Facebook. So save here. And what we're going to go to next is Twitter, which is slightly easier. You enable that. Once again, you need API key and API secret and redirect correctly. So create new app here, Twitter, apps.twitter.com. Name Firebase Authentication tutorial. Description, a Firebase Authentication tutorial. The website's going to be localhost 3000 again, or whatever you're going to publish it or use it. Callback URL you take from here. Copy paste it in. You agree to have some agreements, sell your soul, etc., etc. Of course, you read that. And it says it's not a valid URL format, whatever that means. And because Twitter wants to be special, you have to put in 127.0.0.1, which is the same thing as localhost, but apparently not really. And the application has been created. Please take a moment to review and adjust application settings, of course, but we are more interested in keys and access tokens. Here we have the key, which we put in under API. We also have the secret, and they don't really hide it as well as Facebook does. And then we need the callback. No, I already did the callback URL. Save this. Now Twitter is enabled. Let's do GitHub. Also remember, on Twitter you need to be logged into your Twitter account. Same thing on Facebook, you need to be logged into a Facebook account, but on Twitter you actually have to verify your phone number, apparently. If it's not, it will ask you to verify it before you can do this. GitHub, you go into You log into GitHub, you go into settings, you go into developer settings, you create a new authentication app, which might be called Firebase Authentication Tutorial. Homepage URL, same as always. Application description, maybe a Firebase Authentication Tutorial. Callback, you get this, callback, you get this one. I'm not sure if it actually is the same one. I just keep copying it over and over again. Same thing here, client ID. Enable it, of course. Client ID. Super secret, client secret. Save. Done. Email password. Done. Passwordless sign in you can do as well. Not gonna do that. Can if you want to. And now we have Google left, which is actually the easiest one. It's just Google. Enable, save, because Google owns Firebase, I guess that's why they can make it easy. So now to the fun part, writing code. We already imported Firebase and styled Firebase Authentication, and we're just going to make state, and we're going to set is signed in equals false. Then we're going to delete all of these things, and we're going to make here this.state.is signed in, and depending on that, it's going to do different things. Right now, just put a text, it's not signed in. No, that's vice versa. That's vice versa. Signed in. So what this is actually, and we're going to change the state depending on if we are signed in or not, and then we're going to either display this part or we're going to display this part. And if we run this, of course not going to be equals, there's going to be a colon. Compiling. And since I'm usually do native, of course it's not going to be text, it's going to be div. I usually do React Native and then you use text, but here's just divs or HTML tags kind of. And it complains, or it gives me a warning. It wants me to remove logo and maybe the CSS. And yeah, of course I don't use that, so I'm going to use Firebase, okay. And let's go to the website, see if it updated correctly. So it's not signed in. Not really much to look at. So what we want next, I actually just copy pasted this code, but what this does is that we set the UA config, is just what we want to do. Either here we can have, when we press the sign in button, it can either pop up on top or redirect, and I actually prefer redirect on a phone. And then we just like open up a new tab, redirect you press there, redirect you back. And here is all the providers we're using. So we're using Google Authentication, Firebase Authentication, Twitter Authentication, GitHub Authentication, and email authentication. And we can add more, like if we wanted the phone number or not, and if we don't want the GitHub, we just remove it from here. So all of this here is the one we enabled on the Firebase website. Callback is what happens when you sign in with success. We just want to return do nothing, so yes, our function to return false. Something is wrong, and I'm of course missed the closing brackets. You're not allowed to miss closing brackets. So we haven't really done anything here. So next step is actually do it in when component did mount. This is so when the component did do mount is going to, after like, okay, it mount the component, it we'll call this function once. And in here, we're going to do some magic. Do Firebase authentication, Firebase out on out state change. That's going to take a function. Out state change going to take user into a function. Yeah, and then it takes the user in the callback function. We can actually in here set the state. It says is signed in, and you can set it not user, because that will, like, if the user is an object, it will set it to true. If it's not an object, it will set it to false. So it's just a quicker way to write that. That's why I have two of these parentheses. No, and now when we set this, we actually instead of not signed in, we maybe want to do something nicer like login buttons. So all we have to do is have this styled Firebase authentication. And that takes the UI config, which is this object that was specified here. And also take Firebase authentication. Let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. That's because we have to app initialize. In the component did mount, we need to do Firebase initialize app, which takes an object with API key and an API secret. Just kidding. It takes an out domain, and we get this from our Firebase. So we have to go to the Firebase console again. So we can put this actually authorized domain, of course, like this. And we need an API key. Let's find the API key. Web API key. We need that. API key in here. Comma there. Nope. Maybe I have to take this Firebase init and just put it outside there. So just make sure it runs early, I guess. Still no. Because of course I have to spell changed with a D in the end. And now it works. So as you can see here, we actually get all these buttons for free. You don't have to design them themselves, and you get all the icons and everything. It looks pretty nice. So let's try sign in with Google. And what happens, it will ask me to authenticate myself with my Google account. And wonderful, I'm signed in. So maybe now we need a sign out button. So let's create a button. How do you do button in React? Say sign out maybe. And we do it on click. We want stuff to happen. And what we actually want to happen is Firebase out sign out. Sign out, capital O. And before that, we need to put this inside a spawn or something. Button with small b, and we have a sign out button. And if I press that, because if I refresh now, it will actually remember the state. But if I press the sign out button, it will sign out. Let's get some user data. So what we want maybe is a big welcome. Just a H1 Why am I having trouble with ordinary reaction? Welcome, and I wanted this, and I want Firebase Authentication current user actually, and then display name. If you just log out Firebase Authentication current user, or just like user in here, you can actually do that. You will see everything that you will get from the user. I'm pretty sure display name is the name. User is not defined. Of course it's not, because user is in callback function. Let's try it this time. And of course we have to sign in because I signed out. And I shows, yeah, it says welcome Benny Carlson. If we go in here, press F12 to see the console, it says, here we have all the stuff. And we have the photo URL, that's pretty interesting. And my email and everything. Once again, don't email me. So for the image, you just image, you should have alt, you should always have that, profile picture for screen readers, etc. And you put a source, and the source is Firebase.authentication.current user.display name. No. Photo URL. And end. Wiki. And if you sign in with Google, you will see I will get my name here and I will get my profile picture. And I can also sign out. I can also sign in with my Facebook, and since my Facebook have the same mail, it will say you already signed in with an account. So I guess I can even Google, and in that way, if they forget to sign up with Facebook or Google, it doesn't matter. It will automatically sync for you, which is pretty nice. And sign in with Twitter, you have to give some authorization. Might not have the same mail for my Twitter actually, or it just doesn't sync. I don't know. And for some reason, Twitter gives you a very tiny thumbnail picture. It might give you different sizes or something. See if signing with GitHub works. Authorize as me. I will give myself personal user data. And once again, same mail. Sign in with Google instead. It works. And the sign in with email, I don't know who uses that anyway. You just want me to sign in with email, which is my Gmail. I guess if some people have email address, not Gmail, those people exist. And yeah. And if I wouldn't have signed in with my Gmail first, I would actually have signed in with my GitHub and get my GitHub profile picture and stuff. So this is a very simple login. And if you actually go to the Firestore, Play Store, console, Firebase, we can actually see the users here, which is me. I'm very satisfied, I guess. I don't want to write things. I'm in the middle of something. So as you can see here, I have my email here. I actually signed in with both Google, Facebook, and GitHub. And we have the same user ID, and my Twitter didn't get there. I can't remember if I'm actually using a different mail for my Twitter account. Probably that's why. But that's how Firebase Authentication works, which is pretty neat. I mean, you don't have to store passwords and stuff by yourself. You will just use this unique user ID. And if you want to have an user ID, so you don't have to store passwords or anything. They will fix the flow for you. They will fix the caching for you and everything like that. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel for more tutorials.